Benjamin Bets.
Everybody, to another great episode of Benjamin Bets, the sports betting show where our bet winnings go to help charities. I'm Jared Downhauer. With me always my co-host Corey Dickman. Corey, we didn't get our parlay last week.
I let us down. I failed hardcore. We went 4-2. So I do think it's safe to say we're back. We're back, Jared. We're back. But yeah, I lost Tennessee and the Tampa, like over, what was the over? 35 points. Like Tampa did its job, scored 20. What happened to Tennessee? What happened to throwing the ball?
I don't know. You
around the
put
field.
Your faith in Will Levis. You can't. You can't have hope as a Titans fan. It just doesn't work that way.
I saw the corner being turned for them, so I lost that one. And then the redemption game that I said this was good. I felt the good juju from the Saints. They didn't even get close to covering that game against Minnesota. And the MVP of the league, Josh Dobbs, he will win the award. So, yeah, those are my two losses. But you went 3-0. We covered the first time Vegas bet, the under for Raiders plus the win. We that was a double in the same game. We got them both.
It was exciting. As you said, I wish it was like the crowning moment. And we would have been freaking out because the Raiders were driving. They were going to ruin the over/under, and it was a funny morning. But I want to jump in. We're calling this a speed episode. I want to jump into our bets this morning. Yep. Get us going. We're going to pick 6 games, add them all up for a parlay, and then Corey is going to win us our mortgage. Did we win our mortgage last week? I don't remember.
We sadly actually went 0-2 on the mortgage bet. The Bengals and the Bills both screwed us over very hardcore. Houston might be the real deal, and I don't know about that Denver Broncos team. We killed them earlier in the year. I don't know, man. They might have a little something right now. So yeah, that was bad. But we are who we thought they were. We've won 5, we've lost 5. So we're 5-5 on the mortgage bet, which is very unfortunate. But you know what? You've not lost your house.
You haven't lost any money.
Yeah.
You haven't lost any money.
You've just been paying your mortgage just like you would have anyway. So, but this begins the streak. We're going to finish the season at 60%. That is the goal. So we need to finish, 14 and 12 or 15 and something. I can't do the math here, but we're going to finish with above 2 of the Mendoza line.
I love that. Well, let me tell you where I'm starting, because wait, this just in, breaking news: Deshaun Watson out for the season.
Oh, I saw
shoulder
that.
Surgery.
Crazy.
Pittsburgh money line going into Cleveland is what I'm hearing. Yes. Listen, that Cleveland D is no joke, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are outscored this year, and they're 3 games above 500. They don't have Deshaun Watson. That Pittsburgh D is the real deal, too. Pittsburgh will win this game by 1 point. Pittsburgh, money line going into Cleveland.
How is Pittsburgh still an underdog here? Like, the line hasn't moved, at least. I didn't know what it was pre-announcement, but this is kind of interesting. I love it. I just thought the Steelers would fall off this year, but we got to win the charities. We got to win the money. We got to win our fans some money. So let's take it. I think that's a great pick. I don't know why they're underdogs, Jared. Makes no clue. Makes no sense to me. I'm going to Carolina, and the Cowboys. I do think this is going to be a letdown game. I can feel it, because it's the roller coaster ride of the Cowboys. But 41.5 feels very low for me, especially when they keep Dak Prescott in the game when they're up like 40 and they're throwing touchdowns to CeeDee Lamb, which is ridiculous to me. So they put up 49 points against a really, really bad Giants team, and then the Giants chipped in 17 in garbage time. I see a similar playbook here. Cowboys put up 30, 35. The Panthers throw in a couple garbage touchdowns. I think 41.5 is very, very low in this game. So give me the over 41.5. The boys at the Panthers. But I think Bryce Young, this could be one of his coming out parties because he knows the country's watching this game because of the Cowboys. And I think he's going to play well. But that just means there's going to be points scored.
I like that. And I'm honestly quite sick of the media. Like with the Cowboys, they lose to a good team and then run up the score on a bad team. And then it's like, oh, they're back. And they've been, and I don't want to seem super biased because I am super biased against the Cowboys, but they're doing that with my Dolphins too. Yeah. It's like, can we just watch these teams beat a good team before we like jump hardcore on the bandwagon? It makes 0 sense to me. 100% 0 sense to me.
I'm with you.
But yeah. I'm actually I might beat you to the punch on something.
Okay.
I was super proud of you last week when you didn't do anything with the Seahawks, and that game was a muckety muck game. The Seahawks won it, but it was like you read that perfectly, like you felt it in your gut.
I did.
Well, let me tell you what I'm feeling this week with Seattle going into LA.
What are you feeling?
There's no way the Seahawks lose this game. Now, I know this big Seahawks fan who always tells me, Jared, what team gives us the most fits in the division? It's the Rams. It's the Rams. It's the Rams. But the Seahawks are playing so well. You tell me why this is a 1-point spread.
Well, it's a 1-point spread because Jody Allen, who is the sister of the late Paul Allen, who owned the Seahawks and the beloved Portland Trailblazers, actually this week was announced she gave ownership to Aaron Donald because he has ownership of the Seahawks team. There's a little bit of equity that man owns of the Seahawks. And let me check. Oh, yeah, he's playing. So that will just terrify me. Gino, it's just like, don't commit turnovers. This is the team this season. The Seahawks are the team this season that is the staple of just don't turn over the ball. If we don't turn over the ball, we're a good team. But I just think Donald's going to get there's going to be a strip sack fumble touchdown in this game. I like the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong, but that's why this is a 1-point game.
Well, if you won't take that bet, I will. Seahawks -1, taking them.
All right, I love it. Let's go, Hawks. Okay. The aforementioned. What do I have? Aforementioned. I'm so kneelable. Aforementioned Broncos, Jared. They're playing well.
What? I was literally just. I'm like, both of these teams are trending.
They're both trending. I like Denver. Give me Denver, and I will probably lose our mortgage because I can't stand Joshua Dobbs. Give me them 2.5 against Minnesota. This Minnesota thing is stupid. This has to run out at some point, and I'm just coin flipping this. Give me Denver. It feels right. It just feels right to me. -2.5 at home. This Vikings thing, Cinderella is the clock is striking midnight, Jared. She's got to go back home. And it's this game today. It's Sunday Night Football. Give me Broncos -2.5.
Love it. I love it.
I don't think you love it. I don't think you love it, but you're rolling with me.
I'm rolling with it. I think like
did you have Vikings +2.5?
No, I didn't have one. Okay. But it's really interesting because like is Justin Jefferson hurt?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you have a Justin Jefferson-less Vikings. No Kirk Cousins, and this team is just going.
Yeah.
And then Denver's turning it around, man. They're beating up the big boy teams in this last couple of games.
They had practice this past Sunday against probably the top running/throwing quarterback that we have in the league. Josh Allen. He's got to take the cake on that. He's a big body dude. He's been doing it a while. So I think the same game plan just exists for the Vikings. It's just a lesser version. I know Dobbs is probably faster than Allen, but Allen is like you game plan for that run. I know he had a 6-yard touchdown rush against the Broncos. Allen did. But I think that same game plan travels. And I think Denver feels – I think they know they can jump on this season where it looked so bad earlier. And I think the swaying – to a W here, -2.5. And I think, their field goals in Denver are awesome. So I think game-winning field goal feels good.
Let's go.
Okay.
I like it. I'm going back to an earlier noon game. the Chargers division. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's shocking to me that the Chargers are at the bottom end of this division right now.
Yeah.
The Raiders are trending. As we just talked about, the Broncos are trending. And then here we have this Chargers team that just can't seem to find their way. It's like I'm shocked by the Bills this season. I'm shocked by the Chargers this season because they've been two teams of consistency. However, they're playing the Packers, man. And the Packers, I think, are going to be on the up and up in the next couple of years. But Eckler's healthy. I just think the Chargers come in and win this game by more than 3. I think this is a 10-point win for them, easy. There's a temptation here to go points, I think, but it's getting a little colder.
You're a little chilly.
Getting a little cold. LA traveling to Lambeau Field like it just that frozen tundra.
Tundra.
It's not frozen yet, but it's getting colder out there. But I still like the Chargers -3.
Okay, Chargers -3. All right. You mentioned the Dolphins earlier.
Oh.
They are playing, which has been the lock bet for me all year. I just can't do it because it's under 46.5, which if you told me a Raiders game and the point spread was 46.5, I'm clicking under more faster than you can say hi to me. But they're playing the Dolphins, and that kills me. So what I kind of like here, and you probably won't like it, but I like the Raiders plus 11.5.
I don't think that's a bad bet.
Yeah, this is my reasoning, okay? I think they will keep the score low. It may not be. I do think it probably is below 46.5, but I get scared when Tyreek Hill's on the other side. But let's live in a world where the Raiders do keep this as a low-scoring game. 11.5 is a lot of points to cover when it's a low-scoring game. The Raiders, they're playing well. They care right now. And I think they battle in Miami. I don't know what kind of home field Miami has. I think every NFL player wants to go down to Miami in November because it's probably beautiful weather-wise and other things-wise. So give me Raiders plus 11.5 at Miami.
I like this. The only thing that worries me is you have a rested Miami team coming off a bye week.
Sure.
But I don't disagree. The momentum that is in Las Vegas right now after the firing of their head coach is palpable.
Yeah.
And they're doing what the Steelers do, and they're putting themselves in games that they can win on one possession. 11.5 greater than one possession. I'm with it. I'm not against you. I'm with it.
Let's go, baby. Okay, good. I'm glad. All
All
right.
right. So let me recap us real quick for our parlay.
Okay.
Capping off the noon games, the most important thing that we've done here is we've stayed away from the Thursday games. That is crucial to having a winning record. We're taking LA -3 in a bounce-back game against the Packers team that we don't think is that strong. I agree with Corey, 11.5 points, even though the Dolphins have very good high-scoring point records against teams with losing records. The Raiders are on the up. They keep it close. Raiders plus 11.5. The Cowboys are scoring points right now against bad teams. Just referenced the Giants game last week. We like the Cowboys and the Panthers to go over 41.5. I agree with my co-host. That is a low over. Deshaun Watson is hurt. Pittsburgh is playing well. I think without their leader, he's probably getting a massage somewhere. The Pittsburgh Steelers, money line, you don't need the points. Then we have the Seahawks. My co-host not willing to bet on them. I'll bet on them for you. At LA, count on Gino getting it done. Seahawks -1. And then the trending Broncos. Russell Wilson is having an MVPS season. I'm not going to lie. He's not getting the respect. Look, Rodney Dangerfield, can't get no respect. Look for the Broncos to get it done, hosting the Dobbs' Vikings. That is our 6-team parlay. I'm with it.
Oh,
I'm with it.
Russ, I haven't believed in Russell Wilson in a dozen or in 2 years now. I've removed the word hate from the man, but I can't stand him. But man, if we are 5-0 going into Sunday Night Football, I may have a Russell Wilson jersey in my closet that I didn't burn up yet.
Absolutely.
It might come out. I don't know.
Yeah, I will make a reference that may be too soon. It's like if you had the Bucks in a parlay. You may be tempted to root for a player that you once held affection for there.
Oh, so dumb. I just can't stand it. This whole life of laying down money on teams is ridiculous, but I love it so much. And you know why we love it? Because you can pay your mortgage with this. And now we move on. Jared, we need a sponsor for this segment. Brought to you by what? People, this is good inventory right here. Good advertising inventory. Call your uncle that owns that insurance company. We could have an insurance sponsor. We need it. That would be perfect.
We need it.
All right. First game on the docket for the Make the Mortgage Bet. As always, this is a teaser, 2-team teaser. We get it to plus 100. So these are even odds, but they're not even with us because these are the games you need to be betting on. So we're getting points, 4.5 points here. Both of these games, I'm picking the over in both games. Okay. First one, Arizona at Houston. CJ Stroud, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Give him the trophy already. I don't even know what we have 7 more games left, weeks or 8. I don't know however many, Jared. Just hand the man the trophy. He's going to win it. He's incredible. Ooh. This guy's incredible. Kyler Murray's back. All of a sudden, Kyler Murray, man, this guy, when he plays, he's electric. Okay, he's injury. He was injured. Long layoff. The man has fresh legs. Played really well against Atlanta. It was a mucky-muck game, but Arizona showed me something. So 43 is the over here after we tease this down. Give me over 43. CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray. Both these teams are going to put up 20-plus points. I don't think either one is strong enough to run away with the game. And even if they did, the other team can score in garbage time. Like, this isn't...
Love it.
Yeah, Houston, I think they're going to make the playoffs, Jared. They're making the playoffs. They're going to be that 7th seed. Arizona, not so much. But I do think both offenses are playing well. James Conner's back for Arizona. Kyler Murray, give me the over here.
Sick. I think that's a fantastic first part of the mortgage. What else you got?
You know where else we're going.
And
I know we have a rule on this show. I know we do. Is Patrick Mahomes has screwed us so many times. But we can't stay away. This is the game of the season so far. Not just this week. This is the game of the year. Monday night, Eagles at Kansas City. You got the Kelsey Bowl. Got a little Taylor Swift always in there, which is always interesting and fun. You have a rematch of the Super Bowl from last season, and the Eagles are going to get the better of the Chiefs team. That's not the bet. The bet is the over, 42 points. But I do think the Eagles win this game. But 42 points seems low. Like, come on, man. Like Patrick, just put up 21 points for us, please, at home. This is embarrassing, okay? The Eagles will put up more than 21, so therefore, when I do math, oh yeah, that's over 42. So give me the Eagles in the win, but the bet is over 42 points as the over. Monday Night Football, we're going to go 8-0. Jared, throw the 8-0 parlay in there. Let's do it. Throw the 8-0. Give me Eagles, and then still take the over for Houston, Arizona. That's 47.5 is the normal without the tees. Throw all 8 in there. This is going to hit. I feel it in my bones. I feel it.
All right, $10 wins you just shy of $2,000.
Oh,
$2,000 for charity, baby.
Charity. Put it down, baby. We got you. Let's go. Do the extra bet. We'll do the $110 bet this week.
Oh, I like it.
Let's go.
I like it. I like it.
But that's your mortgage bet. So Eagles, Kansas City, over 42 points. Arizona at Houston, over 43 points. Lock it in. Pay your mortgage. Rest easy.
I think it's great.
Yep.
I think it's great. I love that. Again, week 11 of the NFL. We've got a few minutes. We'll wrap up some other things. Corey, will come to you. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. I'm curious your thoughts on whether or not this in-season tournament is affecting what you're betting on.
Yes and no. I think there was a game last night. I happened to cover it. I was watching it, but you have the Utah Jazz at home against Portland. Both are not going anywhere. They're both 3-7, 3-8. They're thinking of the lottery. But you could tell, I think they were trying hard, like just a little bit harder, because if you may be in the lottery this season, but man, you could maybe sneak an NBA Cup in here where that's not going to affect your lottery odds, but it could be a nice thing going away. It probably will be the better teams will be in the finals of this thing, or at least in the Final Four. But it does give a team like Utah and Portland, who were both 1-0 going in as far as their in-season tournament standing. So now you have the Jazz won last night. So now you have a Jazz team that's 2-0 that has really nothing to play for except for this thing, which makes that fun and exciting. The Warriors game got super chippy last night against the Timberwolves.
Wild.
Like, no idea if that's necessarily because they're fighting for this in-season cup deal, or it's just it got chippy and Draymond wanted to chokehold Gobert or whatever.
I want to see Draymond in the WWE. Like, tell me there's not a better NBA personality right now to get into the WWE.
Do you remember when Karl Malone did that? He wrestled for WCW.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, man. I was a huge wrestling fan back then, not really an NBA fan, but I remember Karl Malone. I was like, oh, yeah, because Rodman did it first, or at least when I was watching wrestling, and then Karl Malone came out there and he wrestled. It was hilarious.
But Rodman makes sense. Rodman, you'd almost think like, oh, that guy probably came from the WWE world.
Yeah.
Or the WWF at the time.
Yeah.
And then, but Karl Malone is just like a funny. Did they call him the mailman?
Oh yeah, it was the mailman for sure. I think that's how I knew what his nickname was. Because again, I just wasn't watching the NBA, but I was like, oh, the mailman. Okay, I know that wrestling guy. So yeah, I think it matters, and and people want to say like this was the example I was hearing today of like the Celtics if they care, and you have Jason Tatum's making over $30 million a year. Does winning $500,000 motivate you enough? My answer is yes. Like, I still think these guys, they're 25, 26, 27 years old. I don't have an NBA contract worth $35 million a season, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn here.
Not yet.
But come on, man. That will, when it gets down to the finals and the semifinals in Vegas, that cut me a check for $500K, man. Like, they don't have a long shelf. Like, he could get hurt. And
you gotta buy Christmas presents coming up. Those ain't cheap.
They're not cheap. Give me $500,000, and then you got your guys on the low end of the bench. They're really gonna care because that could be more than their whole contract. So for that season. So to answer your question, I do think this has been fun to watch. I look for it now. Like I'm like, oh, Friday nights. Okay, these are in-season games. Like I think it does affect the betting in some way because I do think these games get a little bit closer. Or the teams try a little bit harder because they added. Do you know what the tiebreaker is for the wild card teams? Point differential.
Ooh, run it up, baby!
So that's what happened last night. Is like the game was close. Portland at Utah. Utah goes on the 16-0 run, and they open the game up. It was like a 19-point game. About 4 minutes left. Chauncey Billups, coach of the Blazers, takes out all the starters. Just a full lineup change. 5 in, 5 out. The Jazz kept every starter out there, and they were trying to like score, and then finally with like 45 seconds left, they took out their starters. But it was like you would never see that and that affects the spread. And that affects the spread.
100% affects the spread.
100%. So that's yes, I do think it is having a positive effect. But as a sports bettor, especially with the NBA, you kind of look for that. I think to understand your over-unders, spreads, stuff like that.
That's good. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the episode here today. Sure to lock in your bets now, especially on Pittsburgh before.
Wait, I have one more thing for you.
Oh, you have one more thing.
SK Telecom T1 versus I was going to call him Wimby. I was going to call him Wimby. Wimbenyama. Weibo. Chinese team versus Korea. What's your prediction?
It's gonna be a little crazy. It's SKT in 5.
Okay, let's go.
Like I just don't. The talent is coming on strong from Weibo, and that's what we've been waiting for. People like Zhao Hu. These are big names. The Shy on this team from Weibo, and they've come alive, and they've had a little bit of the easier road. But you're also setting up, in my opinion, SKT to be such an overdog in this scenario because they did just beat the tournament number 1 seed. They did just beat another great Chinese team. And so I think they're going to get punched in the mouth, honestly, by Weibo. But you're at home. This is like your comeback world's opportunity for Faker. I think they get it done in dramatic fashion in 5 games.
Okay, I like that, man. I like that. I think they hold court in Korea. This would be, I think, their 4th title in like
Yeah, I think so.
7 years or something like
It's a
that.
dynasty.
It's a dynasty.
It's a dynasty in Korea.
Not the Ming dynasty, but it's the Korean dynasty, the Faker dynasty.
The Faker dynasty.
I love it, man. Love it. All right, thanks for the pick. People, go put your money on esports. So it's a thing.
Esports.
It's a thing.
We'll talk more. We'll talk more in the future, but that is going to wrap us up. Tune in next week. Week 12 of the NFL. We'll have more coming for you and some NBA updates. But until next time, for Corey and Jared, this has been Benjamin Betts. See ya.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.